Hello and welcome to another edition of Strategic Gaming. My name, as always, is friendly neighborhood nerd king Mac Taylor, here to talk about episode 7 of Survivor Island of the Idols. And really, guys, this has shaped up to be a fantastic season of Survivor. I, kind of like most, was coming out of Edge of Extinction a little sad, a little disappointed, if you will. And really was ready just to get to the Winners at War. I was not ready for another newbie season. Yet, here we are with this newbie season that I think is amazing. They're playing so well, some of them. And also, just the game has been super interesting. I haven't really been bored. There hasn't been a vote where I'm just like, all right, let's get to tribal. Let's get this person gone and we'll move forward. Like, I wasn't, it's not that kind of situation. Like, I never know who the hell is next. It's pretty great. So, without further ado, let's dive right into it. We'll talk about the episode and get into those player rankings. So, right off the bat, Lauren is shook by how that vote played out with Jason being sent out. She is scared that she's next and very just vulnerable. And understandably so, because Lauren up to this point has been pretty well either in control or just knowing what's going on. And this is the first time in her Survivor game that she was kind of taken aback by a situation. And that's bad. It really puts a bad taste in your mouth. And just like she's just feeling very vulnerable, very betrayed by the events. Missy talking like, hey, let's get to the merge. All the girls are going to team up together. Because Missy does want that girls' alliance. And so it seems like when the merge happens, she's going to get back with, Elizabeth. It'll be Elizabeth, Missy, Elaine, and then a bunch of the other girls, whoever's left in the game, essentially. And Aaron is very cocky for, no reason. He's like, now we're in control. And it's like, dude, you've never really had an ally that stayed around too long. The only reason they pulled you through this is because they needed your vote. You're not exactly with them. I wouldn't say that Aaron is on the top of anybody's ally list. So I don't know why he's so damn comfortable here. And Jamal, there's a situation arises at New Lyra, and Jamal was trying to start a fire, and just he's not getting it started. And Callie's like, hey, can I try? And Jack's like, yeah, let Kelly try. She's really good at it. And Jamal's like, well, I would do it this way, and I would actually say do it over here. And so then basically just takes back over, and then Kelly is like, he wouldn't even let me try, and he's like, really condescending, which does look like that. You never really want to be the bossy boss kind of guy on camp, especially if you're, people already are maybe contemplating voting you and you're doing shit like this, you're going to tip the scale. So she's mad, and Jack's even like, man, you should probably just let her do it. Don't take it over from her like that. Jack is really trying to help Jamal see how this situation is not great. And then Jamal turns around and gets into an argument with Nora about rice portions. So, Jamal not doing himself any favors at all with these people. And Nora talks about, we should get the girls together, go against Jamal. And Janet's like, yeah, I would want to wait till the merge to take out Jamal. We need him for the remainder of the tribe stuff and for Vokai numbers. Don't really want to take him out. I'd take Dean out. And Janet also says she's not really too keen on, girls' alliance. She likes Tommy. And, is willing to work with a lot of the other guys, too. And then the vote comes and takes Janet to the Island of the Idols. And she is very afraid to go to the Island of the Idols because she doesn't want a target to be on her back because she went there. Which, valid point. It's the whole reason Vince got taken out. in the early part of the game. So, she should be a little shook, but also she's in a decent spot to where I don't think anybody's going to want to turn on Janet of people. So she goes to the Island of the Idols, and the game that they want to play is for calculated risk. So she'll play a game, and if, she wins, she's going to get the ability to, leave a tribal council. You're going to be safe. But you have to leave the tribal council. You don't vote at it, or you lose your vote. So it's really, that there's not a whole lot of benefit there other than just safety. But it's not like an idol or anything, This is but I think this goes with the lesson of, is this really worth it? And so she contemplates it. And she's like, well, if I don't have a vote, then that's not good for my team. And then also, if I leave the tribal council, that puts a target on my back because I just get to up and walk away, and it could be a vital vote. And there's too much risk here. So she is the first person yet to go to the Island of the Idols who declines the offer. And Rob is all smiles because he's like, wow, you knew to turn down that deal because it just was not worth the risk. You analyzed the situation. That was a good choice. And Sanders yeah, I keep telling you, a girl's going to win this game this season. These girls are here to play. And waiting for you to take me up on that bet. And Rob's which is the title of the episode, Rob says, I was born at night, but not last night. A lot of the episode titles have come more from them than the actual players. The premiere was called I Vote You Out, and that's it. And that was a Sandra line. And then this one, being a Rob line. Pretty good line, though. Do I have stupid written on my forehead? Can we get that episode title? So yeah, Janet declines, and she comes back to the boat, and she flashes them to show that I don't have an idol, and that she's totally cool with being nude or whatever. But and then she turns to the boat guy, and she's like, sorry. I love Janet to death. I really do. She seems like such a fun person. And just, she is such an interesting character. She's playing the game tremendously well. I really do think that she's going to make top 6 at least. I'll talk about it more in the rankings. But I love Janet. And she also upholds kind of Kelly's and Nora's lie about what the Island of the Idols is. And so Kelly is relieved that the story, her story isn't blown up, and it is true that the people who have gone to the Island of the Idols have kind of kept it under wraps, so that there is kind of a niche group of well, you've been to the Island of the Idols, so I can trust you a little bit because you didn't blow up that I lied and I came back from the Island of the Idols. We've created a weird paradox of this secret society of Island of the Islanders. And then we get, everyone's talking about Dan, at night he's cuddling up to people and throwing limbs around, and it's I guess he really didn't learn from the Kelly situation because he's still just a little too touchy with people, and it is very uncomfortable. And so Lauren and Tommy are trying to push the target onto Dan, so if they lose, they can stay together, even though Lauren and Tommy are the bigger threats. Dan is a threat to no one. So, Tommy is running around telling, oh, Dan told me to vote for you, or, oh, Dan says that, he figured out a way out of this, things like that. And Missy's not buying it. Missy's like, he's lying to try to, push the target off him, and we need to take out Tommy if we lose. Which, again, that is completely correct idea. Missy is very smart to see Tommy's threat level because he is a big threat. And Lauren, too. Even though she wants to work with Lauren, I think she should vote Lauren out, too. Lauren is a good social player. And, as much as I have a mixed bag of emotions for Missy, because I love her game, but I am lukewarm to her as a person. But I enjoy, I do think she has the right read a lot of the times. Except for that one episode where she was just all over the damn place. So we get the immunity, which is like you have to throw the coconuts in a little basket until it weighs down enough to release your puzzle pieces. And then you have to do this big sliding puzzle. And so the shooters for Lyra were for Vokai, were Missy, Tommy, and Janet? No, Janet was for Lyra. My God. I get the new tribes mixed up sometimes. And then for Lyra, it was Dean, Janet, and somebody else. But Vokai had a clear lead, but they lost it in the puzzle. And it is literally like seconds away. But Vokai does win immunity here. So Lauren and Tommy can breathe. And actually, this was the result I wanted because a lot of I love Lauren, I love Tommy. So that tribe being safe is good for me. And also the Lyra tribe losing is more interesting to me. And so, Jamal and Jack, they're like, yep, the Dean plan's rolling forward. And Jamal even says, like, this is the safest, easiest vote we've had yet. And I'm like, man, you gotta stop saying that. Because every time that which I know maybe he said it every time and they just only put it in when shit goes wrong. But just on a rule maybe for future Survivor players is never say that anything is the safest vote you've ever had, because there are so many variables in Survivor. You should just know anything could happen. Just take a Big Brother rule, expect the unexpected. Like, stop saying, this is a safe bet. Like, this is gonna happen. You don't know. Stop it. So, Jack and Jamal, they're kind of feeding Dean, like, oh, you're safe. Like, we're gonna vote Nora out because we trust you more. And Dean's like, wow, if I go home, I'm gonna be surprised. And I'm like, seriously, Dean? You're going to be surprised if you go home? You are the clear, obvious vote here. Because now that, the tribe's phase is almost over, Karishma's a shoo-in for the end game. Because she's so worthless. So it makes sense that you would probably go out here. Why are you surprised to be voted out? Dean is just so dull sometimes. Like, Detective Dean Kowalski would be flat broke if that was his job. And Kelly, her idol that she got, that I actually forgot she had, it's good for just the last tribal it's good for. So she contemplates giving it to Dean because they have that mutual friend and she trusts Dean. And honestly, Dean is kind of a trustworthy guy. He doesn't have a lot of strategic ability. So, he's going to be loyal and he's going to be honest. So it makes sense to want to work with Dean. So she's like, I'm going to give him the idol and then we'll take out Jack or Jamal. And so she tells Dean, hey, you were definitely the target. He's like, from everybody? Everybody said I was the target? She's like, yes, Dean, you were the target for everybody. And so she gives him the idol. And then at tribal, Nora's basically like, Dean, it's like with our tribe, like we're all close and there's Dean. Who the hell is this guy? We don't know. And I'm like, okay, maybe that's a bit much, Nora. But it's such a Nora way to go about it that I'm not even really mad about it. I'm just kind of like, did you really need to do that? Oh, God, I love Nora for television purposes. And I do think she is a shoo-in for Endgame as well. And Dean then in turn tosses Nora under the bus like, well, you were talking about voting out Jamal. Jamal's like, seriously? You were talking about voting me out? And then boom, like we got drama. So it was very smart of Dean to do that. He's good at throwing people under the bus at Tribal, but he's not good at reading people. And Jamal talks about being afraid of a girls' alliance. And then this brings up a big conversation topic of gender, the idea of gender and Survivor. So, there's always talks of women's alliances as compared to men's alliances, and maybe how we view those alliances, and just assuming the girls are going to work together and things like that are talked about hugely. And especially with Janet. Janet, I think, words it beautifully. And I won't even try to repeat it because Janet said it all. Like, watch the episode and just listen to what Janet describes it as. Because Janet's not the one that's like, I want to work with the women. She wants to work with the people who are best, the individuals, if you will, who are best suited for her game. And that's how I view Survivor and Big Brother. I don't think alliances should be formed based on gender. You know, it should be formed with who you bond with the easiest and who can get you farther in the game. And that's exactly what Janet was trying to say that we should strive toward. And I totally 100% agree with that. And Kelly had her 2 cents to put in that were also Survivor is such a teachable forum, especially to younger people watching the show or to people who never thought about these issues. We got people from all walks of life. While the game itself is fun to talk about and learn from, this is a lesson in life and how to maybe view society in a different perspective. And that, I think, is more important than anything. So as much as I love the strategic gaming element of Survivor, I think this, beyond good television, is a teachable moment for people to become better people. You know, because it even spoke to me because I'm 22 years old. I have just scratched the surface on the lessons to be learned in life. Maybe not even scratched the surface. I might have just touched the surface on lessons to things to learn about in life, you know? Like, I'm just barely starting in this journey here. And I took some things away from that. And maybe how I view gender normality in Survivor as far as, you know, guys alliances, girls alliances, or just like even those terms in general, you know, I think we can all learn something big or small from these kinds of talks. And I'm sorry for ranting so long about that, but I really do feel like that was a beautiful moment. I think that even Jeff was like, and now we have to vote somebody out, which is weird because this was such a good conversation, which I agree with, because it's like, oh shit, right, we got to do this tribal. So we go to vote, and Dean plays, you know, Kelly's idol that she gave him, but Kelly does a really good job at acting surprised because Dean goes up to play the idol, and Nora's like, if he had it all this time, why the hell didn't he play at the last tribal council we were at? And Kelly's like, I don't know. And like, she actually like is good at acting here, because sometimes when people try to act surprised, they do a really shitty job. They're like, oh wow, Dean has an idol? I don't know where that came. But no, like, she really like was good at looking surprised and really getting through this moment, as much as internally she knew it was going to happen. And Jamal then plays an idol on Nora, thinking that Nora, because talking to Dean, Nora was the other target. So at least they would cancel each other out, and they would do a revote, and maybe he can try to shift the target somewhere else. But I don't really think that was such a good idea, because I think Jamal, if he thought Nora was going to go, that's okay, because if on the revote, they could vote you, Jamal, or Jack, or, you know, who is your intended target? Because Dean would be off the table. Karishma? Maybe? I don't know. I don't understand. If he genuinely thought Nora was being targeted, he should have let her bite the bullet, but I don't even think he should have played that idol at all. I understand he was fearful, but if he was going to play the idol, at least play it on himself. Don't play it on Nora. But I do think he accidentally helped himself. And I know that I still have not talked about the vote yet, but just hear me out on this, is that Nora is the kind of person who is fueled by emotions. Her gameplay is fueled by her emotions and how she feels moment to moment. He used the idol on her, and so in her eyes now Jamal is, you know, with her. And so I think she'll try to integrate Jamal in what she's doing. And that'll either hurt or help him. I don't know which one that is yet, because Nora's such a wild card, if she's useful or not. But, you know, I think he accidentally gained an ally when he lost an ally here as well. So the vote comes out, it's Dean does not count, Dean does not count, Dean does not count, Dean does not count, Dean does not count. So 5 votes for Dean that do not count. And we get 2 votes for, and the first member of our jury here, Jack. What? Like, I was shocked. I was shook because I thought it was going to be Jamal. And I was like, oh my God, he played the idol on somebody else and then is going to get taken out. And no, it ends up being Jack. His closest ally is going to bite the bullet here. And Jack is surprised. Everybody besides Kelly and Dean are surprised. Like, it's crazy. As soon as that first Jack vote hits, he's like, crap. And even Rob and Sanj like, oh shit. Like, it's a big moment. So my final thoughts on Jack before I get into these player rankings. Jack, I mean, this was, as much as I got a lot of the cast assessment wrong, because again, all I got were bios, I got a lot wrong. My winner pick went out last episode. A lot of my, top tier people are gone now. But I said Jack would be an early juror. I thought he would make merge, but early juror. And he's the first juror, so I wasn't too far off on this. And he kind of did fulfill that Joey Amazing Ozzy Luth spot of really physical player, really good social guy, goes out early jury. So but this was a crazy idol moment. I think Jack probably is like the second or third juror, in a normal situation. So, I really didn't think he had much left to offer. Maybe he would have been really good at those immunities and go on a streak. That was the best he really could have hoped for. He was a good social player and a good guy at comps, but that's too big of a target. And, he'd have to either win out or just hide behind somebody. A player like Jack doesn't have much longevity here. And now for these player rankings. I'm going to start out with Aaron. We didn't get much of him out of this episode. I got to stick him with a 3 here just because he's super cocky, and I think a downfall's on its way. But I think there are just some bigger fish to fry right now. I don't think he'll go the next couple of times unless something comes up and he's just like a backup plan that maybe comes into fruition. But I give him maybe a 5% chance of actually getting to the end. It's just probably not going to happen. I never thought he was going to get there anyway, but just how he acts sometimes is definitely yeah, you're not going to get it. Elizabeth, Missy, and Elaine, they've always been together, so I'm just going to rank them all together. They're a 7. They're looking really good, especially if that women's thing with Missy comes through, then, they're going to run the show, so. Missy's the biggest target, I think. I think she'll end up biting the bullet if one of them's going to go. But all in all, I think right now they're set up to go at least pretty far in the game. Tommy, I'm going to have to give a 6 to. And Lauren, I'm also going to give a 6 to. And since they're kind of work together a lot, we'll rank them together with the 6. They're coming out of a bad situation with a lot of options. And I think if Lauren and Tommy can get together with some of the old Vokai people, maybe the Janets and maybe even Nora, and kind of just reel in some numbers, I think they could definitely do some damage. I think Lauren will be in the top 4 of this game. Kelly, I got to give it 8 to, because my girl here, killing it. She used her idol correctly on somebody else, made it to where no one knew that idol came from her, and as long as that doesn't get back to her, I think she can just ride this move out. She's got a loyal person in Dean. A lot of people like her, and I think that she could potentially end up winning this game if she can sneak to the end. Then we go to Dean, who he gets a 3. He's a number for Kelly. Beyond that, he has no capacity for strategy and just has no chance of winning this thing, I don't think. A 3 is actually a good ranking for him. He's got as much usefulness as Nick from Survivor Australia. Then we're going to talk about Dan, who I gave a 4. And again, I think that is a very generous ranking for Dan because holy shit, he does not understand personal space, which annoys people. He overplays a lot of the times, and he's generally just annoying. Like, there are bigger fish to fry. I think Dan will be good for a while. I think he'll make it a good ways into the merge here, but he's definitely going to be a guy toward the end. They're like, can we just get Dan the fuck out of here? And then they do. Like, he's just, like, he doesn't offer much, I think, to the actual meat of this game. Karishma still got her at a 1. I thought about bumping her up to a 2, but I do think she'll be sitting in the final 3 and lose. No votes. So, got to give her a 1 because she's not going to win, but I think she'll be around for a while. Nora, I gave a 4 to. I think I might have gave her a 3 last time. So, I think she is, even though things did not go her way here, I think she's increased her stock a little bit because she's not as nutty or as Nora as she was. Like, she's actually maybe going to be taken a little more seriously with strategy. And I think if she can find herself on the good side of some numbers, I think she can do some damage. Jamal, I'm giving a 3 to. Because, yeah, it's all bad. His reads are bad. His likability has gone down with a lot of these people. And he once again gets blindsided. So, things are not looking great for Jamal. And then finally, Janet, I'm going to give a solid 7 to. Because Janet continues to surprise me in this game. She is insightful. She reads things very well. She has very good interactions with people, and she's not going to be looked at as a threat for a long time. You know, I think she could end up in a Sandra position where she's good at the game. She's a good strategizer, and unlike Sandra, she can get along with people. She doesn't blow up with people, and if she can sneak by far enough, man, she might be a shoo-in to win. And with that, that ends another episode discussion of Island of Idols. Tell me what you guys think. Comment, message me on social media. I want to keep this Survivor conversation going as long as I possibly can. Again, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. I got plenty of Survivor talk, Big Brother talk, all sorts of reality talk. I also do, short films and, movie reviews. I got plenty of things coming out on the channel. So definitely, if you want to be involved in that, you want to see what's coming up there, subscribe, hit that bell button. Don't miss a single video from MacPack Studios. I'm Mac Taylor. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.